That's the rhythmic thing that's like nearly impossible to do with the precision that he's doing it.
Baekhyun?
Yeah, if that's how you say that.
Just call him Bacon.
You can go with bacon.
So now you're reacting to the solo artist Baekhyun, who is actually from the boy group EXO. Yuan Village is an area in Seoul for the rich and famous with beautiful views of the city and the Han River. The lyrics are about a man wanting to show his favorite place to his lover and to spend time together watching the moon. The song is composed by Lion and Dress.
Baekhyun, lettuce, tomato, sandwich.
This is cool. This is like noise music. There's people who get literally degrees in composing music like that.
Ooh.
This is cool. And now it's like hip hop.
Ooh.
It just sounds bougie.
It's like R&B harmonies and like these staccato bursts.
I like that tinny, like, slap you percussive sound.
It's like
Sounds like money.
It's like the popping bubbles that you get at bubble tea and you bite into like pop, pop. That's how it feels like.
But made out of gold.
He lets you hear his passaggio sometimes, but sometimes not.
What is this weird effect? Like the notes are crunchy and jazzy, but everything just sounds equally dissonant because of the timbre.
Oh, but how can you not just pay attention to those visuals?
It is really cinematic. I love the lighting. Yeah, lighting. But I love even more how easily he navigates between his falsetto and his chest voice, head voice, his mix. Oh.
It's all like a very nice percussive sound. Like even when you add in the strings, like you want them to be like.
Yeah. It's simple. I like it.
Interesting.
See, that's an example of when he let you hear his passaggio. Like going through it.
It's just an octave, but it feels wider. Ooh, nice harmonies.
There's a lot of references to older sound media, like with the crackling of the vinyl at the beginning.
Crackling, and then that past section too.
Yeah, where the voice was distorted a little bit, like it was
the top
playing.
of something they did to make it really get that effect.
Like it was playing from a phonograph or something. Yeah.
I love all the triplets just on top of this, like on top of this super like typical bass. Yeah, it's just something I really love in music when they just totally play with where exactly they're singing and the rhythmic like divisions. And it's always exactly on the beat. It's just total mastery over like the Agagic accents and where they fall.
Ooh, okay, and now we get like continuous chords for the first time.
Wow, there you go. That's the sustained notes are so welcome.
And I like how, like that section too, it feels like the music video and the music itself is playing with either very clean and very sharp stuff, or like the phonograph and having it to be a little bit duller in sound.
Jeez. What a weird last image.
It's very pleasant. And then the way they, I can't pronounce his name. So medium sliced bacon with low sodium.
Weak.
What do you mean
Gotta
weak?
get all the sodium.
Get all. Yeah, it was very smooth groove. you have these pits that are so well. If anyone plays a string instrument, just the pleasure of plucking an instrument is you don't know. Like you can pull at one angle, and then you could do a Bartok pits where it just snaps on the fingerboard. Makes a very crisp, strong attack, or you could do something nice and pleasant.
Or you can program a pizzicato sound onto a keyboard and just press the keyboard.
But I thought it was interesting. It just sounded different. Maybe it's the way the layering or the volume.
Yeah, the layering is key. Yeah. Because I think that same pitch sound in another song mixed badly, even in the same song mixed badly, would just stick out, especially to our ears. But the way it's mixed in here, it just worked. Yeah. It was really nice.
Reverb, yeah, that's exactly what they implemented in here that a string instrument can't necessarily sustain by itself or produce in that manner. So just having that extra reverb was just, wow, like it's very nice that they chose this decision because it adds to the effect of just relaxing, almost like watching a wave just go by. Yeah, the atmosphere was there. There's a depth that is created through the singing. And yeah, it's a great voice, so it's pleasant overall.
Yeah, I was kind of tapping the whole time, like conducting out the pattern, because I think the tempo has a big part of why the song is so chill. Like it's just a very slow and deliberate 4, 3, 1, 2, and they go back and forth between like 16th notes, like dabba 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 dabba, and 8th notes. Dabba dabba, and then they even did like triplets in some parts, but I think it was just the way he was inflecting certain things, like singing things like a little bit behind the beat in some ways almost made it seem like it was really like free flowy and like free, I guess.
Is the name of the album City Lights?
Yes.
Is that a reference to Charlie Chaplin?
I don't know.
Because that's a classic Charlie Chaplin film. Especially because there were a lot of references to not only like older sounds of like sound fidelity when it comes to playback, so like the sound of the vinyl or the sort of distortion as it sounds like it's coming through a phonograph or something, but also like references to older kinds of films with the black and white, and then there was the like black and white footage being shown on the side of a building. There were references to older kinds of media, which I think that nostalgia for kind of older versions of media production and viewing and listening, that's very hipster, that's very in to be sort of retrospective in that sense. So it would make sense to me.
Okay, so you're going to be comparing UN Village to a B-side released on the same album as it, called Psycho. And Psycho was originally a solo stage for Baekhyun when EXO held concerts. Fans have been asking for a studio version of the song for a while, so it was included as a bonus track on this album. The lyrics describe a Jekyll and Hyde kind of relationship. Baekhyun says that he's psycho because there's someone in his head trying to take over. The song is composed by Zason and Megan E.
City Lights. Oh, good movie. 3, 2, 1.
Where are we
okay,
going?
That's not what I expected.
We're on a spaceship. Whoa!
Half diminished.
Ooh, the rhythm is kind of, the meter is hard to pinpoint right now. Because you have a guitar pattern, but I think it's in 3 even though the meter is in 4, so it's harder to tell.
It does feel like it's in 4. I think it's just having the 3 being over the 4.
Yeah.
The 3/8 notes.
Oh, man. His falsetto is so killer.
It's like hard for me to feel grounded with this though. Like I feel like I'm just like floating away.
I see. Little sirens in the back. Maybe it's gonna ground you soon.
That was it. You just. That's like a heavy settle.
That's
though.
That's not grounding though. I feel like I just got like RKO'd to the ground.
That's like a monster drone. Like when the big monster's coming out. They're like,
Yeah.
It sounds evil.
I don't know. I think the hazy sounds might imply like a hazy state of mind, you know?
That's the rhythmic thing that's like nearly impossible. to do with the precision that he's doing it.
Ooh, that sounded like a distorted siren.
The alarm, the siren.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was actually gonna see if this siren is like a warning that the chorus is gonna come in, like the evil side.
There it is. Yeah, you're right.
Whoa, that's cool. The rhythm is like fighting with itself.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, we're moving.
I don't know what instruments they're using for the percussion, but it kind of evokes bucket drumming, you know?
Oh.
Like that very city style street drumming.
There's also a lot of sounds that remind me of the Dark Knight soundtrack in that the way that they got the Joker's theme was by putting razor blades on the cello strings. So that kind of like crunchy sound is kind of what we're getting here too.
Dang.
Ooh, I like how the echoes were like slightly out of tune on that last thing. That was so cool. I love that song. Could that be on my playlist?
It sounded like Pong, a game of Pong. It's just da da, but instead of just keeping a strict rhythm of it, it's da 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 da, just back and forth. Just so there's this unnerving transition from I'm stable and then I'm not stable. So they have these very visceral, aggressive growls, just pulling up synthetically, and yeah, I guess that really worked out.
Like we had these two main characters that were going on, and one of them was like, as I mentioned, it felt like a hypermeter, this huge 4, and all these different like sound. It's like it seems like it's not tonal, right? Where you just hear these sound textures and they're kind of like spurting everywhere, and then his voice is kind of like singing in this huge arc above, that's tethered to the hypermeter. But then that just feels so spacious and just like kind of disorienting. Overwhelming. And then you hear this other character, which is a lot more like floaty even. Like there is no hypermeter that even grounds it. It becomes even more like disengaged, where like there's only one line where he's just like singing. This is like a single line, he's just voice, and he's just like, and then he weaves it with like another like entrance. But
it was very new music-y. I felt like Psycho, he created like a big spacious soundscape. It was like a sound universe. UN Village was more of like a typical song, and I think like that's more comfortable for me. Like
it was more like conventional.
Listener. Yeah. So it was more
but the Psycho
catchy.
was definitely like felt experimental
cool and
in
out
some
there.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the soundscape that they created to portray that idea works very well, and I think the chorus especially was well constructed in the sounds that they used. I don't know, I just sort of like, I don't really like the term psycho. I think that it tends to reduce what is actually a mental health illness as something to be afraid of. It's distancing yourself from people who actually suffer from mental health problems, as opposed to accepting them for having like a legitimate illness. You sort of run into problems when you reduce mental health to something scary and crazy, and I don't know, it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah. Understood. What do you think of this song compared to UN Village?
It's like the opposite vibe, because like I was saying with UN Village, with like the, you know, very like short chords, very chill vibes. This is like big bass synth, like the whole time, like continuously.
There's a lot of crazy, really cool stuff. A lot of differences. Like there were some bits where the singer would like go up and like head voice and it'd be very soft, and then the last time we heard that lick, it was belted, just barely, like soft belt, like at the top, which is hard to do
It was like a really good showcase of great singing.
Yeah, I definitely like Village more. Because it just felt like it was like, in a sense, easier to listen to. Because he did the same, it's like a triplet group of half notes over 2 4/4 bars, which is like hard. To like, if you're not subdividing, which I don't think he was subdividing, and I think he just like did it by feel, which is like, bravo.
When we were saying like that we wanted the other song to push him to his like
That-
technical
exactly.
limits as a singer and musician, this is the song that does
Yeah.
that. And I guess it makes sense as a bonus track in that way, and it makes sense with the like Psycho. You've got this someone else like struggling against you in your head, and that makes sense in terms of why he would, or someone would write something and he would perform something that would be so technically difficult, because there's really no need for that in the other song. It was a great song.
That's
It worked
true.
super well. We've got basically no percussion for certain sections of the song.
Yes, that's
and then he's singing these incredibly complex and hard to intuit rhythms over no percussion, and then he lands exactly where we all feel he needs to land.
Yes.
That's hard.
You have like such strung out like multiple measures of like no downbeat. You're like, I need a downbeat.
Yes.
Please.
And he does all sorts of crazy things, and then he gives it to you.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I had a dream about food last night too. Yeah. I was trying to buy all these hot Cheetos and they ringed me up for $100 and I was like, this is not, I didn't buy $100 worth of hot Cheetos. This is like 10 bags. Okay, sorry.